Detroit Lions. And, I got to chump my Wolverines defense for letting Iowa do that to them, man.
All right, well, let's start with the Lions. The Lions are a serious contender for champ of the weekend, and they didn't play, which is great.
What?
Well, they didn't play, but you're not the only one.
Oh,
They've gotten plenty of votes for champ of the weekend.
Oh, yeah. I didn't hear that.
Why are you chumping Michigan's defense?
Because, man, you don't let Iowa, the last few minutes like that, run down your throat and get that field goal like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That was ridiculous.
Let's look at the big picture here with the Michigan defense.
Yeah, well, I mean,
because Michigan's defense leads the nation in scoring defense. They've allowed 11 points a game. Well,
That's
Iowa
amazing.
scored 12. The offense on their defense, they scored 12. They got the safety against Michigan's offense. Michigan's defense is number one in the country in total defense, allowing 244.7 yards per game. Iowa had 230 total yards. Now, that doesn't mean there weren't things that I didn't like. I didn't like the way Iowa ran the ball, and it was disappointing that they couldn't hold Iowa to. I guess
put some more points too.
Stop you chumped the defense. If anything, I would have chumped the offense.
You're right. I take that back.
All right.
But our Lions, baby, we're not looking back. This is our division now. We ain't getting off of that first place, baby.
Well, to be fair, Martin, we've grown familiar with you over the years, and you've always thought that.
Always, baby. And this year is the year. I don't care about what Green Bay, Minnesota's doing. I'm mad that I just bought tickets for Week 17 that we're not even going to need to play our starters versus the Packers. Yeah, at home, Week 17. You heard me say it.
They're going to have everything they need clinched.
Let's Karsch. Come on, baby.
Yeah,
Come on, dog.
Martin, I'm not sure you even. I'm not sure you even believe the BS that you are shoveling out right now.
I don't see them losing another game.
You want one bet?
Get ready for Jerry's World Monday night. We're going to show them boys how to play. We'll be there. We'll be there Monday night, Karsch and Anderson. Let's get them, baby.
Some of the Monday night match.
I love you guys. I love you guys, man. You guys are the best.
Well, we think very
thanks,
highly
Martin.
of you, Martin.
We haven't discussed this about the Michigan game. This has not been brought up. I don't think it's been brought up as potential play of the game. What about the face mask penalty on the punt that went to Iowa that cost Michigan 15 yards and had Iowa getting the ball to Michigan 36-yard line?
Okay. I've seen the TV replay. I will tell you, this is the only comment I will make about it because I don't want to focus on officiating. But I was standing about the depth of Kenny Allen when he was punting the football. Not quite. So probably a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. And Michigan was punting from Allen was probably standing on his 20, maybe inside the 20. I guess I'd have to go back and look. And the official that threw the flag was standing directly across from me. So he was a good 30 yards away where the officials closer didn't throw the flag. And all I'm saying is if they got together and talked about it, what did the guys closer to the play say to the guy who was one of the two furthest from the play? But I don't want to focus on officiating today, but what did you think?
Well, I'm trying to pull it up again so that I can see it again and kind of offer up a perspective objectively. As you know, I'd like to be objective about these things. But when you read it in a box score, it's a pretty critical play.
Yep.
When you get that late into things.
I can send you a link.
Well, I'm watching it now.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. You take a look while we continue taking phone calls.
I recall, when I watched the game the first time, I thought it should not be a 15-yard face mask penalty because I don't think he grabbed it. Did his hand glance across it?
The way the kick return was Desmond King's head turned, I think fooled the guy 30 yards from the play. But I don't want to focus on that today, and I thought he was pretty far away to make that call.
Well, nonetheless, I think Iowa still ended up with 2 first downs in that drive
which would have taken him to the 30-ish and been closer to a 45, 47-yard field goal as opposed to a relative chip shot. But, hey, KT is next. Hi, KT.
Hey, Doug, how's the swelling?
It's bad today.
Yeah. Hey, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about, being on the sideline. Your perspective on what really stood out to you in terms of how Iowa beat us on Saturday. I do know that it's mystifying to me how Chris Evans, who I believe, runs with a completely different focus. I mean, he hits the hole so quick. I think he reads his blocks well. I just don't understand why they didn't run him more. Harbaugh, I know, is in love with the grinder, but unfortunately, I don't think Devion Smith, TJ Yeldon, as much as he wants him to be. I just think it was a bad personnel move not to have him going in there. But I do want to hear about your perspective of the game and what you saw.
Well, I mean, I've talked about it at great length. If I were to come down to one of the single biggest thing that Michigan didn't do that they needed to do to win that game was take advantage of what Iowa's defense offered them, which was the deep ball. And I believe there was 4 deep passes where they had somebody open, and Wilton Spade either overthrew them or underthrew them. One of them came early to midway through the fourth quarter where he overthrew Amara Darboh, and I happened to be right there. And as soon as he let that ball go, I thought, oh, he overthrew him. And Darboh was breaking open. Darboh was open, and he underthrew him once. There was another overthrow. I think it was also to Darboh to the end zone to the left if you were watching on television. If I were to single out the biggest thing that Michigan was incapable of doing, because I think if you complete 1 or 2 of those, it forces Iowa to make changes, which opens up other things. But Michigan never burned them on that. And, remember with Jake Rudock early in the year last year against Utah when he didn't complete those deep balls? And it was very reminiscent of that. And I imagine Ohio State's going to take something from that to defend Michigan should Spade be able to go. And at this point, he's game-time decision.
For you, Doug.
Sure.
I was just listening to Harbaugh presser, and he's already trying to throw IU off about whether next man up is going to be Morris or O'Korn. I mean, it does sound like that Spade's got something going on from TV, which you probably couldn't see. When the trainers were going underneath his shoulder pad, they were running around pressing underneath his pad, and they caught a spot, and he really jumped. Like, ooh, that's it. So it doesn't look good, I don't think, for Wilton this weekend, unless it's just a minor sprain. But that reaction looks something more severe.
Michigan went through this with Chad Henne a few years ago. And remember, they played a game at Illinois, and Lloyd Carr said after the game it was the gutsiest performance he's seen from a quarterback because his shoulder was so messed up. And that was the game where they actually ran a reverse pass where I think it was Arrington to Manningham or the other way around, and it was because Henne couldn't throw it that deep. And that's ended up being the go-ahead score. I don't know, man. It's hard to say what you believe and what you don't believe, and you're right. The TV copy saw things that I didn't necessarily see. But here's the other thing about the quarterback position. Does Jabril Peppers get more snaps at quarterback, and they just run the Denard Robinson offense?
They could.
At least, but the difference is, of course, that Denard threw a little.
I wouldn't do that against Indiana. I think they could beat Indiana with O'Korn or with Shane Morris. I don't think they have to worry about getting funky with Jabril. Now, if it's a tight game, then you better believe Jabril should be in the offense. I don't know if he should be the quarterback, but he should be in on the offense.
Daryl is in Waterford, and he's next. Hi, Daryl.
Hey, Carson, how you doing?
What's up?
Got a little bit different take when you were talking about the Pete Carroll going for the 2.
Yep.
Because I would have put them up by 9, I think, if they would have made that, correct?
Yes.
I look at it simple. Of course, it's the same one that, in the playoffs that decide not to run the ball and pass it, same coach. But I think you put New England into a different play calling situation if they would have made that 2, because now they have to look at 2 possessions.
Oh, without a doubt.
So I think it really changes the play call. Like you said, the biggest thing is that to be able to drive down and get the worst, they were going to get down there and get a touchdown, extra point ties it. Belichick more than likely is not going to go for 2. He's going to go for overtime at home. which is what you're looking for. And I think Carroll was just trying to put it away from there and a little bit of trusting because he knew then pretty much what they were going to have to do in order to try to get 2 possessions.
It's funny
So
because
I didn't have any problem with the call of them trying to go for 2 there. Now, if it only put them up by 6, that'd been a little bit different. You go to the Cowboy-Steeler game where that got real interesting in the last less than 2 minutes, of everybody going for 2 points. I've never seen a game where they went for 2 points, everyone like that.
I guess, Daryl, the more I think about this, the more I kind of like it. It's a really aggressive play, and basically you're saying, I want to put this game out of Tom Brady's reach. I don't want him, if anybody can do this and lead him down the field and score and make a 2-pointer, it's Tom Brady. If I make it a 2-possession game, I'm taking it out of Tom Brady's reach. I'm basically saying, yeah, go ahead and score 1, but then you got to get an onside kick.
And then the end of that game ends up being a non-call by the officials on which I actually think was the right call.
You know what?
Chancellor and Gronk both engaged each other.
I bet there's a mathematical formula, and I think I'm going to work on this. If 2-point conversions are 50-50, what are onside kicks? Because if you make it, and the 50% chance you make it, then you're bringing in the much less than 50% chance onside kick into the equation, right? Because New England would have to get an onside kick most likely.
I was told there'd be no math.
Well, you were told incorrect, my friend. Work on that during the break, would you?
Sure.
97.1 The Ticket.
97.1 The Ticket.
Hey, business owners.